Hey everyone, this is Karen Waksman, founder of Retail MBA. Today we're going to be talking about selling to Food Town stores. So if you have a great consumer product that you think should be in their stores, this little training will give you some things to think about in regards to Food Town. With that said, let's get started on today's training. So let's talk about your local grocery store. The thing about selling to local grocery stores is that they're all over the place in regards to the number of stores they're responsible for. So you can say that your local grocery store is a Ralph's, right? That you are working with, say, a Ralph's grocery store, wanting to work with them, or say a city market or other types of grocery retailers that are maybe just a regional or a local store. So sometimes you even have grocery stores that you can sell to that just has one or two in your local area. And for you, that's enough and that's exciting. So today's information will be all about how the grocery category works and then figuring out some best steps for you to take in regard to generating revenue with them. So we need to figure out what kind of product you have and which one it would be good for. If you want to sell to your local mass grocery chain like Ralph's, they do buy on an individual level. Now, when I say Ralph's, Safeway, or whatever massive grocery chain is out in the world, but they're in their local area, that would be a retailer that you could go to and sell to their corporate stores, or you can sell to them on one individual store if the buyer permits. Now, what that means is because they sell perishable foods, they will be able to buy stuff on a local level, meaning that they have the ability to have somebody in-house to buy for one individual store typically, or maybe for a small region in that area. So that's one way to sell to them, to a grocery retailer. So again, based on where you're at, what is it you're looking for will be exactly that. You got to just choose. So I'm just giving you the insights as to the different types of local types of grocery chains. Now, what if you just want to sell to your local, say, city market, which has 30-something stores they're responsible for, and they're all in a region? That's slightly different than selling to your, mass retailer on a local level. The reason for that is they're a little bit easier. So based on that, what that means is they have the ability to buy products on a local level because, again, it's always perishable foods and so forth that they need to be able to sell to individual stores. But also, since they don't have that many other stores they're responsible for, it usually means that they are more open to local products and so forth. There's not a lot of corporate issues going on where they have a lot of buyers and a lot of people who have to review the product before it gets submitted and so forth. So your local retailer that doesn't have a lot of stores tends to be a lot easier to work with for the little guy. So again, if you are a big company and you want to sell to a lot of stores, but maybe you want to start small, go after the Safeway and the Ralph's and so forth, and you can sell them on a local, regional, or national level. I have videos on all of this stuff in my YouTube channel or on retailmba.com. However, if you are selling groceries and you're trying to sell to your local retailer that actually isn't massively known, they have their own buyers and they're looking for new products. They tend to be more locally purchased items. They don't buy as much, obviously, but they do have a buying process and they do allow you to sell to them on an individual level or more. But generally, it's going store to store, opening up accounts for that type of retailer. Now, what if you are dealing with an individual store that's a grocery chain that you know that maybe they only own a couple stores or something like that? That's even easier. They generally tend to not have a lot of bureaucracy, and you can literally drive in your car and try and get those retailers to buy from you. That's very different than, say, going to a bigger retailer, grocery chain, where again, they're looking for someone who can mass produce products because their end goal is, I want to buy a lot of products from you eventually. I'm fine with buying from you locally or regionally, but eventually, if it does well, I want to be able to spread it out. And also, I need you to have your finances in order and all that good stuff. So that's the difference in the grocery segment of things. Ultimately, what you want to know when you're selling to these grocery guys, they're going to want packaging, they're going to want your pricing figured out. They're going to want you to be able to have certifications for your food products. They don't want to choke anyone or kill anyone. You definitely need to go and learn about, depending on your product category, what kind of certifications you're going to need for your product type. The government has this all listed everywhere. And actually, a lot of the retailers on their supplier page explain what kind of stuff they're going to need from you. Even Walmart has it written out for grocery and so forth. They're very meticulous to let you know in advance. Don't bug me until you have the stuff in place. Also, if you are creating food, obviously, you need to have a way to be able to produce it for more people than just a few stores generally. So my recommendation is, if you're starting to sell grocery products, definitely look into getting someone to manage your food stuff in a way that they won't cap you. Because what happens if you go out and you start selling your product out into the world and it sells? You don't want to find another food manufacturer and someone later on. So my recommendation is really look early for someone who can grow with you a little bit, because I've seen it time and time again where you're the reason why the product isn't scaling because you didn't figure out your manufacturing. You were just trying to get it out. I get it. But if you're going to just try and get it out to the world, your product, try and do it maybe a little bit beyond your comfort zone, meaning working with somebody who can manufacture your product that doesn't just have the ability to buy or sell stuff that's small quantities in case it scales. And then you don't have to do it again. Time and time again, I see food products. They're seriously dealing with food distribution and all these things. You have limited, finite time with these products. You don't have stuff forever. So don't just go for your local easy manufacturer. And again, there's so many courses and information about how to work with food manufacturers and so forth. We want that for you. But ultimately, at the end of the day, what we're saying is that we're looking for a way for you to be able to scale up your business so that you have more opportunities. Because what if this thing starts selling and every time I've seen it, they start small and then they have to do it again. They have to find another manufacturer again, and it's a disaster. Also, when you're dealing with food distributors for grocery and so forth, be aware a lot of the distributors only want established products that have already been selling before they start working with you. It doesn't always happen. If you have something really unique and innovative, they'd be open to it. But generally, they're looking for you to sell the dang thing first before they actually go and work with you, which is highly irritating for people who are just getting started. So my recommendation is to get some education, get some coaching, some consulting, and to figure out how to start selling your product out there a little bit before you work with these distributors. They take a hefty fee for their efforts. Typically 20 to 30% of your money will be gone to the distributor. Yes, they have people on the street selling your products out there. However, it does require them to want to be your sales rep, essentially. That's what a distributor is, someone who's going to distribute your product out into the world. So if you're going to work with them, try and just remember that you can reach out to them today. A lot of them just won't pay attention to you until you start selling first. And that's when maybe you get some help. And people like me and my company, Retail MBA, has been around a long time, helping people scale their businesses by preparing you to understand how to actually get a few orders in from these retailers so these distributors pick up your product. You can go directly to distributors yourself, and if they're not picking up the phone, please support yourself by getting some additional information and feedback from professionals who've been doing this for a very long time. You can learn more about what we do at retailmba.com. That's retailmba.com. We have do-it-yourself programs, done-for-you services. We've helped people all over the globe scale their businesses. Ultimately, just to let you know, with grocery distribution, it really comes down to, and food distribution, it comes down to you don't have a lot of time with these products, so you got to go fast. You got to open up accounts as quickly as possible. And you have to make it enticing for the buyer. And if they can see that you figured out your manufacturing in advance, that if they did scale with you, that'd be great. And also for yourself, right? You did all this work, set it up properly early, just by making sure that your manufacturer can handle a little bit more volume than you're comfortable with. Eventually, that will give you a break. But ultimately, in terms of sales, these retailers, a lot of these grocery guys, can handle you reaching out to them on an individual store level. And the bigger guys are happy to look and review at new products, but I highly recommend getting some additional support if you're going to go the bigger route where they have thousands and thousands of stores they're responsible for. That is where big baller money comes in, and you just want to make sure that you're doing things correctly. And that's where companies like ours, who are a retail consultancy and an agency, come into play, and we're happy to help you at any step. Otherwise, be on the lookout for additional videos we create on all the different categories. The reason we teach product information for every product category is we find that sometimes when you're, say, selling a grocery product and you're doing well with it, maybe you want to add other products and maybe you're sick of food. So we always generally create information since the very beginning on all the different product categories in case eventually one day you want to expand beyond what you're doing. And maybe right now you're creating this because you just have your great barbecue sauce or whatever it is, and you might want to scale into other types of stuff. So everything we do is generalized, although we work in every product category, whether or not you are a newbie or an advanced seller. The reason we create such advanced training for everybody across the board is because we see that if you like products, you generally will like to explore other types of products. So we're excited to support you wherever you are and what you're looking for. Karen Waksman, Retail MBA. I hope this helped explain food distribution and food grocery stores, how they work, and working with distributors and the complexities of that. Thank you so much.